Okay, hello everyone. Today we gonna discuss a book by Charles, which is called uh, Cold War II, uh, The Christ in the Desert, or How to Counterbalance NATO's Propaganda from Ukraine to Central Asia. This book was written 10 years ago and described events in Ukraine and how they can repeat in Central Asia and how Central Asian countries should avoid it. Right? So, Charles, could you tell us how you came up with the idea of this book?
Well, that wasn't difficult. I didn't come up with the idea, but the media reports and the background articles after the so-called Maidan Europe revolution, which was not a revolution but a coup d'etat, there was no comprehensive report on what was really happening and how it went back into history. The idea didn't come to me, it was given to me on a silver plate. The history of Maidan goes back a long time. It goes back into the history of the Second Reich, the Empire of Germany under the emperors Wilhelm the First and the Second. In those days, the socialist movement, the International in Germany, which was prominent in Germany, was considered a danger by the conservative political and business classes who felt that there was a socialist revolution coming up, which eventually didn't happen in Germany, but it did happen in Russia. I remember reading a remark by Rosa Luxemburg at the second international meeting when she asked her assistant, "Who is that man who's speaking French so fluently and is addressing himself so charmingly in front of the whole audience?" And the answer was, "That is His Highness Prince Mikhail Bakunin. He is the chairman and secretary general of the Russian Socialist Party." Rosa Luxemburg asked, "A Russian Socialist Party? That can only be a joke." But the bottom line is that the conservative classes, businesses were divided into a more social feeling, communicative side together with the working class, and a conservative side who wanted to keep the hierarchy of management and workers dating from the 18th century intact.
Mm-hmm.
That caused the need for a counter-movement against the international socialism movement.
Mm-hmm.
It was located in Holland. They held regular conferences and seminars and propaganda campaigns. It's called Bilderberg. It still exists.
Mm-hmm.
The whole conservative class of businesses and politicians are united there together to have brainstorms, to prepare propaganda campaigns in the media, and to prepare countries, newly acquired territory, for a movement which counters Russians, new social capitalist style of government, style of rule in the world. One of those territories standing out today is Central Asia. If you put the logic of this together, you have in a nutshell what this book is about and what gave me the idea.
Mm-hmm. So, you told about this world elites gathering together, brainstorming ideas of how to change, let's say, make this propaganda. There is a theory that the more people are engaged in some event, the less the probability of success.
Sorry?
The more people are involved,
Yeah.
the less the probability of success. Because each person makes it more unpredictable. Human beings are unpredictable people, unpredictable creatures.
Yes.
When you gather together, you can come up with mutual ideas, mutual values, but when it comes to implementing the ideas, everyone has different views and different methods. You see?
If you bring them together, you make an attempt to harmonize these ideas
Yeah.
and to make personal aspirations subordinate to collective ones.
Yeah, and that happens for 1-2 days, and then they go can separate, go to their places, and they're not united anymore. And
You might
now-
have read Jean-Jacques Rousseau's Contrat Social.
Mhm,
Man is born free.
mhm,
Man, like lions and tigers today, lived with families without a larger community
mhm,
and drove on hunting and gardening.
mhm,
At one stage, there were too many people in the world to maintain this family structure.
mhm,
Even today, tigers need a large territory to hunt on.
mhm,
They don't allow competition.
mhm.
My cat at home, known for my photograph, he's the sweetest creature on earth. At one stage, another cat tried to come in. Then he got angry. It's his territory. It's my territory. It's his territory. And he'll defend it like a brave soldier.
Mhm.
Tigers do the same.
Yeah.
Men did the same at an early stage, until there became too many people in the world. So men changed from a tiger into an elephant, or a deer,
Mhm,
or any animal which lives in herds.
mhm,
So at this point, they, as Rousseau said, voluntarily, they delivered part of their liberty to subordinate to the collective interest.
mhm,
Now this is the purpose of propaganda. You deprive some personal aspirations from individuals
mhm,
to bring them together under a collective umbrella.
mhm,
Rousseau said that man did this voluntarily. He was wrong. They do it by some mechanism which in turn is being abused by elites, because this community structure gets elites.
mhm,
An elephant herd has one elephant, the strongest, who leads the herd,
mhm,
who defends it against enemies. For elephants have only one enemy, that's man. uh, but to defend the herd, to keep their territory intact. The same happens in societies today.
Mm-hmm.
One thing is that, in contrast to animal herds, human herds are abused by the leadership to not to make a social contract with the community, but to abuse it,
Mm-hmm.
to subordinate it. Am I clear so far?
Yes.
Good. The West and the origins of the movement behind what was to be the Maidan Revolution go back to that mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be, from the 18th century on into the 19th and the 20th century into our days, a movement in America called Skull and Bones.
Mm-hmm.
It originates from the times of Thomas Jefferson, when the American government found it hard to control the farmers, which the communities throughout the United States, and needed to install a power structure which put the community, including farmers, cowboys, whatever, under their thumb.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the coalition between the rich elites and the political elites originates from that point on. Today, Skull and Bones is what the Freemasons are in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
They're a clique. The Hillary family, the Hillary Clinton family, the Bush family, they're all members of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's an initiation, they meet at secret places, and this is where the movement, formerly against Soviet communism and Chinese communism, was being conducted. And nowadays, they're not just maintaining the system, they're trying to not just to put up with competition from the East,
Mm-hmm.
from Eastern Eurasia, but they're trying to predominate over it.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to take control over it. Hence, all the plots and all the conspiracies for revolutions as we have known them in Kyrgyzstan, in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
There has been an attempt even in Kazakhstan.
Mm-hmm.
The Navalny movement in Russia. The Navalny has shed some light over the Western influence and the influence of Skull and Bones and their adept organizations. Navalny was an outspoken, blunt fascist, racist. And that's not a reason to have him killed the way he was. You should have put him in a museum. But the mechanism through the aggression by these movements is clear today, and it has become clear with Maidan, with the Maidan movement, which is now in power in Ukraine. Ukraine is an outpost of a whole Western conspiracy towards a push east. Another example, history of Britain. In the 17th, 18th century, when Parliament in Britain had got clout, it was divided into the Tories and Whigs. The Tories represented the regime, the political regime. That's why up to these days, many common people still vote Tory. The Whigs were the liberals. They wanted an independent business class, apart from the political elite. It was the time of colonialism. They wanted business to have a place in the colonial realm, independent, making their own decisions. Now, the Whigs have practically disappeared. The Social Liberal Party in Britain is a tiny result of a coalition between the workers' movements and the entrepreneurs' movements.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's Labour who is the competition, who represents the competition to the Tories, which still exists. The controversy in British politics is that the social liberals, together with Labour, represent the workers and the entrepreneurs. Economically, that's not logical.
Mm-hmm.
This is why many workers vote for Tory, because they think, okay, politics and business should be separate. It shouldn't be under the same umbrella. Politicians work for businessmen.
Mm-hmm.
Businessmen don't work for politicians. That is the danger which exists today. But we're getting astray.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, we got clear with the Western agenda, how they gather and what they want. So, how it is said in the title, how to counterbalance NATO's propaganda from the Central Asian or Eurasian part.
The existing governments of Central Asia and the Southern Caucasus want to keep not a neutral but a multi-committed attitude towards the West on one side,
Mm-hmm.
and the Russian, Chinese conglomerate on the eastern side.
Mm-hmm.
The president of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, who is a Kyrgyz by origin, but he doesn't want to talk about it. He's been very outspoken on it. We want to work with those parties, but we don't prefer one party towards another. This is the right attitude.
Mm-hmm.
India has the same position.
Mm-hmm.
They're working with Russia. If Trump and Madame von der Leyen tell India not to buy Russian oil, Mr. Modi simply says, I'm not telling you where you buy your oil, you're not telling me where I buy my oil.
Mm-hmm.
And the oil business in India is entirely under control of the state.
Mm-hmm.
In Russia, they have state companies like Rosneft, and they have private companies like Lukoil.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember a lifetime ago when I was running the Caspian Business Studios in Baku, I had Dmitry Gogov, spokesman of Lukoil, on the telephone. I said, Dmitry, how are you going to solve the tension between Lukoil and the Western companies here? His answer was very clear. Charles, we're a Russian company. largest single shareholder is an Azeri. That's Alec Bill, which he is. So we're in a perfect position to reconcile our positions. We won't betray our own interests by engaging Western companies into a joint venture. What's happening now at the Caspian Pipeline Consortium is a repetition of exactly that scenario. There's a pattern, there's a common pattern behind what's happening today and what happened 1, 2, 3 decades ago. So that's one of the motivations why this book is here, and why I'm planning a next book on the international investment and trade chains initiated by China, but now followed by other communities. The mistake of the Westerners is that they want to confront them. They see developments, political and business, in the East as competition. It's not competition, it's an enrichment to the world economy, which leaves the West fully in place, economically and politically. By sharing business, sharing political rule, order becomes stronger, it becomes weaker if one party is set up between the other. This is the historical mistakes which originated in the Bilderberg movement in the 19th century through different movements around the world, persisted in these days. That's the message of my book. Proof that the message is in some places appreciated is the fact that if I look at Amazon or Waterstone or similar online trade circuits, this book is still being sold like sandwiches. It goes even in antiquariats. It goes from hand to hand.
So what you're saying, as I understand, is West and East should not fight directly, but they should balance each other.
Yeah.
And in a balance grows harmony and prosperity, right?
That's what John F. Kennedy used to say. That's what his successors didn't listen to. But as long as there is concentration, campaigning, anti-campaigning, the poor will be poor and the rich will get richer. I read recently that only 0.001% of the world's haves are equal to a quarter to the world's poorest population in terms of cash. This is a situation that cannot persist. Many philosophers from Adam Smith to Karl Marx, from there to Mainz, have acknowledged that. But on political levels, the message doesn't come through, and their propaganda power is so big that even diplomats parrot their slogans. I remember meeting the Dutch ambassador to Kazakhstan, who was also Kyrgyzstan in his portfolio. I said, yes, we came to Kyrgyzstan, we are present in Kyrgyzstan to propagate the liberty of the Ukrainian people. I told him, my dear Excellency, thoughts in this part of the world are quite different from yours. I advise you to keep a low profile on that and be a diplomat for once in your life. He never spoke to me again. But there's still the old propaganda movement, the brainwash movement against Marxism by origin, against what they call the Eastern state capitalism in present days. It still has a lot of power. Friends of ours, whom you know, in Holland, who maintained a Russian-Dutch cultural center and a travel agency and an information agency on the former Soviet Union. They had to close down. They got death threats, not by by the Dutch security services, but by private persons driven by this political false propaganda. So the psychological grip on societies is very strong.
So let me a bit about. There is a chapter called "Tale of Oil, Gas, and Cash." So you talked about Kazakhstan and how it is successful in maintaining balance between West and East, and they are successful because they have investments from both sides, and exactly, particularly in oil, there is Chevron, there is some other Western companies investing in oil. They're actually present there, they invest there, and they understand that destabilizing situation in Kazakhstan is counterproductive. But in Kyrgyzstan, there is no real investment from the Western side. We're too far away, too underdeveloped infrastructure and stuff like that. So it makes Kyrgyzstan kind of vulnerable to the Eastern investment, heavy investment from the East, and only media propaganda from the West, right?
Yeah,
And
this is the problem. The solution is that Russian business, Russian politics will not stop any Westerner to invest in Kyrgyzstan. There are Western companies, mining companies, investing in Kyrgyzstan. They're working together with Chinese and Russian mining companies. For instance, in oil and gas, Kyrgyzstan has an overcapacity in refining oil and making oil products. There are 3 refineries in Kyrgyzstan, which is too many. Kazakhstan has a shortage of midstream oil industry. There is 1 refinery in Atyrau, there's another one in Pavlodar, there's another one in Chimkent. The big business center, Almaty, and its surroundings, they don't have an oil refinery. Plus the transport costs, it would be cheaper for Almaty and its industries who need petrochemical products to import it from Kyrgyzstan. It would solve the problems in Kyrgyzstan and it would solve the problem in Kazakhstan. The EAEU, which is too focused on reglementation, which is needed of course, too much focused on organization, they should mediate practically on the ground in exchange by the two sectors. It's an easy problem to understand. It's easy to solve. You need to lay a few pipelines, but the Russians have a big experience in laying pipelines. So have the Kazakhs. So there shouldn't be any problem in that. The same goes to mining and mining processing. Bigger cooperation. And the thing is that Western companies are still welcome throughout the former Soviet Union to invest and to cooperate with domestic companies. They are withheld from that by politicians. The Royal Dutch Shell is now forced to separate, to dissolve its venture with Rosneft, which is a shareholder in the Caspian Pipeline consortium. It's Shell, which is a monster sacré in Holland. They're richer than the government altogether. Don't forget that the Royal Dutch Shells, as the name says, biggest investor is the royal family. It holds about 7% through different holdings and channels. Shell itself has over 1 million shareholders, meaning they have clout enough to say to the government, this is as far as you go. We make our own decisions. And that's what the Western industry should say. Less than 1/6 of Western companies have actually left Russia because of the sanctions. They're staying put. And they say, okay, what's the government of Italy? What's the government of Germany? What's the government of the Netherlands? I never voted for you. So we have our shareholders meeting, we have a board meeting, we make our own decisions. And if not, very well, we move from Holland or Germany to the Bermudas. They're free to do so. And it will cost the states of Germany and Holland and the others a lot of tax money. So for business, the world has virtually no borders. They can move anywhere. They can move to Kyrgyzstan if they wish. And the Kyrgyzstan government and the population will love it because it will bring taxes down by 20% for everybody, including you and me.
Yeah. So another chapter of your book is about undermining Eurasian Economic Union. And Eurasian Economic Union was created as a counterbalance to European Union in Eurasia. But it's still young, it's just 10 years. 10 years since Kyrgyzstan joined in, but like a bit more than a decade since it exists at all. But now it becomes vital for the Russia to exist and develop economically. And so but Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan are really less developed in terms of infrastructure. So investments from Russian side would make sense, but may become too much for Russia alone. Do you think if China could help Russia in investing in infrastructure, Kazakhstan, or should Western companies, Western side, do that?
There's room for everybody. There's so much to do here. I read in the news that for a year and a half in Kyrgyzstan they have been trying to re-asphalt one highway from Isikul to the southwest. A German company could do that job within a week. The same with the railways. They've been planning a Bishkek-Jalalabad railway for half a century now.
Yeah.
The Trans-Siberian Railway was laid in less than a year in the 19th century when there were no satellites, there were no computers. They had to do all the planning on land with.
Well, Siberia is easier in terms of the landscape.
Don't forget that they had to cross the Ural and the Altai mountain range for those railways. It was a difficult job, but they did it. The East-West Railway, the old one of the 19th century in America, crosses the Rocky Mountains. Those are tough jobs. So the Kyrgyz are good at the development of pasture grounds. They could do a fantastic job in southern Siberia and northern Kazakhstan and in Mongolia. There's always a thing that one has and the other has not. If this fits into a regional scheme, a regional program, it will be for the best of everybody. Coming back to the Eurasian Economic Union, I remember at the Astana Economic Forum that one of the ministers of Kazakhstan said, okay, we are creating now the Eurasian Economic Union. We are learning from the European Union, which means we are also learning from their mistakes. The strength of the Eurasian Economic Union is that they're non-political.
Oh, I wouldn't say so.
They are immune, they are not receptive to any political influence of any member states.
Yeah.
They're not involved in politics at all. They're talking about customs regulation, financials. They're talking about tax harmonization. Everything is technical. The European Union has become entirely political. What the Eurasian Economic Union is today is what the European Community used to be before the Treaty of Maastricht in the early 90s. That was a mistake. It brought politics, it opened the door of the European Union wide open to politicians. The result is to be seen now. The European Union is hardly regulating economics or technicals at all. They're all politicians. They have become politicians, they're above the law. Madame von der Leyen is accused of many abuses, and there is no court, either in Europe or in one of the European countries, which is competent to bring her to justice. They're in a legal vacuum, and they abuse that vacuum to put together their own political agenda. And it's structurally wrong, it's morally wrong, because no institution in any country should be above the domestic laws. And the EU, they respect that system. They are strictly technical, and they should stay their way. They shouldn't fall into a Maastricht trap.
Final words of today's issue is that you can find this book on our website. You can find it on our website and buy or either electronic version or a hard copy. Visit our website in the description.